Good morning, everybody. It's Storm here, bringing you another video. Since we're close to 2023, 2022 is starting to wrap up, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about one of the big, most anticipated games that's coming out in 2023, and that would be Marvel Spider-Man 2, developed by Insomniac Games. And I thought I would put in my 2 cents on what can they improve for the game and what villains that could appear in the game and have like what kind of role they would uh, play in the game. Not really main story wise, more like a little bit of side quests. Probably one or two could be involved with the main story. Like for example, like how there was one part in the main story mission from Marvel Spider-Man PS4 that there was you discovered some drugs that was hit in the streets, and that opened up a side quest for you to deal with the criminal mastermind of Tombstone. And I thought that'd be interesting for the next villains. We're first going to talk about what new gameplay improvements they could put in the game, and after that, then we'll move on to our villains. The first one I would like to say for them to improve, that you could probably see on the screen right now, is more traversal when you're not wearing the suit. Like when it came to Spider-Man PS4, it was cool that you were not in your Spider-Man suit and stuff, but it was only limited when you're walking around the feast shelter. And once you leave the feast shelter, you're back in the suit. And I believe it was one of the DLCs for Spider-Man PS4 that you had you had to like follow a couple of Hammerhead guys, and you would not and you didn't have to wear the suit. So I thought maybe for Marvel Spider-Man 2 they could add a little bit more that kind of gameplay for their sequel, so we don't always have to wear a suit. Because we gotta remember, Peter and Miles are not just Spider-Man, they are themselves also. So I like to see them expand their characters not in the suit. Spider-Man Miles Morales was somewhat was kind of pushing towards that. Like we definitely see Miles a lot more out of his suit than Peter in Spider-Man 4, in my opinion. But yeah, that's another thing I wish they would vastly improve. The next one they should definitely improve is the mechanic to do the web launch, or web catapult, I think it's called. It basically is the move that Activision did for Spider-Man 2, the movie tie-in. I believe other Spider-Man games did this also. When you web two buildings, on both sides, and then you shoot another web, and you pulling yourself backwards to launch yourself forward. We've seen this done multiple times in the Spider-Man movies, especially when it came to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and a lot of people been requesting that specific move and stuff. So I think that would be pretty cool for them to add, like have like Miles or Peter do their own spin on it or something. What would be another one? Oh, I wouldn't mind them putting in fall damage, like, or either fall damage or when you web so close to the ground, like what Peter did in Spider-Man PS4. He, like, when he got his new advanced suit, when he webbed close to the ground, he used his right hand to make it so slide across the floor to try to keep him above the ground while having his feet touch it and stuff. So I wouldn't mind them doing like that when you web very close to the ground, or fall damage. Like, I know we're Spider-Man and stuff, but we're not indestructible. Um, and the last thing I would like to see them improve greatly is a little more suit damage. Like Spider-Man PS4, there were suit damage, but you don't see it clearly and stuff. When they remastered Spider-Man PS4 to Spider-Man PS5, they they definitely really updated the suit damage that you see, like, oh, you actually see like big old gash marks on Peter when he was when he was hurt fighting as Kingpin and all that. And when it came to Spider-Man Miles Morales, they definitely upped the ante when it comes to the suit damage. Like at the end of the game, his suit was nearly gone. Literally the only thing that was still intact was his suit. His whole upper portion of his suit was basically all gone. The only, like, all the black was gone. You see most of the red and the spire symbol. That was pretty much the only thing left. And in regular gameplay, like, you see like more detail when his suit get damaged. Like, for instance, this suit that he's wearing, like the jacket get ripped up and stuff. So I would definitely like to see more suit damage in the future. All right. Now I got what I want to see improve for the. Wait, matter of fact, there's actually one more improvement I would like to see. When it comes to the parkouring and stuff, when you're like just straight running and stuff, like if Peter see like something that he could go under it or above it, I would like to see him try to go under, like do like a baseball slide going under or something. So something like that. Like it definitely like pretty much somewhat the same when he like when you do the web ability when you go under a water tank and stuff. Probably something like that. But like yeah, just a little more like more moves for Peter could do when it comes to his parkouring. Alright. Now that's officially all the improvements I would like to see in Spider-Man 2. Let's go into the villains that could probably play a potential role. As of now, we already know like the villains that could appear in Marvel Spider-Man 2. We got Venom, we got Kraven the Hunter, and there is a chance we might get a Green Goblin, but a lot of people say they would rather have him to be for Spider-Man 3. So his involvement is up in the air, but we got very strong evidence that Norman Osborn is making a prototype version of the Green Goblin suit, because you play Marvel Spider-Man when you play as Mary Jane go to Norman Osborn apartment. You actually see like the Goblin helmet, the Goblin bombs, and when you're wearing the Goblin helmet and you look at the top left corner, you will see like a highlighted of the Goblin glider. So it is a strong chance, and that green stuff that he has Harry Osborn. If you recall from the Spider-Man 1 movie, Sam Raimi, there was like a green toxic mist that turned Norman Osborn into the Green Goblin. So this could be equivalent to be this green like liquid could be the equivalent of that green mist thing that Norman absorbed into his body in that movie. And we also saw Dr. Connor. You beat Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at the end of the after credit. You see that Norman Osborn has hired Dr. Connor to treat Harry. So And one of the collectibles from Marvel Spider-Man was like, I believe it was like a blood vial of the lizard. So the lizard is already established in this universe, if memory, if my memory is correct. So it could be a chance that the lizard could be like a little boss fight that could appear in the game. And how I think he could work, maybe maybe him and Norbert Osborn have a disagreement about it, and maybe Norman push him into something that could probably trigger the lizard transformation, because we don't know for sure if he's 100% cured of the lizard and stuff. And if you remember, Dr. Connor was trying to convince Norman Osborn that it wasn't a good idea to release Harry out yet, because he don't know what could happen if Harry got out there. But of course, Norman is not a patient man, since the whole thing with double breath. Yeah, he's not having it. Right. Now we got our somewhat of our villain players. Now we go on to the villains that I think, or what I would like to see make appearance in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And the first villain I have is Beetle. A lot may not remember who Beetle is. If you play Ultimate Spider-Man, he was a person that was hired to get a sample of venom for an experiment. So what I possibly think, what kind of role he could play in this game is maybe when Venom run amok, Kingpin comes back, because we all know, Kingpin is in jail right now and stuff. He's not gonna stay in there. So what I think they could do is Kingpin will hire Beetle, since Kingpin cannot hire the Prowler anymore, aka Miles' uncle, because he went straight after giving up what's that dude name from Miles Morales? That rich guy who owned Roxxon. I forgot what his name was. But anyway, after the Prowler gave him up to the police and basically hand over all evidence for what he did, especially the death to Finn's brother, I believe that Kingpin could probably hire Beetle and basically probably just use the same thing what he was used from Ultimate Spider-Man. Be like a new guy for hire to go after Venom. And I think that'd be an interesting thing. Like, especially that if you either play as Peter or Miles, a whole chase scene through the city while he's flying and stuff. And that's another thing. I would like to see more destructible environments. Like, as you clearly see right now, like Miles chasing down Rhino and stuff, or running through buildings. And I think that could have been a cool idea. Especially if you recall the first review for Marvel Spider-Man. They had like a little scene that Peter was doing flips in a restaurant and breaking through a glass to get to like a I think it was like a demon in a van that was running, so he cut through a restaurant and broke through the glass. And I'll show you that clip right here. Yeah, as you can see, he's doing crazy parkour in a whole cafe and stuff. I believe that kind of thing happened only once, when he has to chase down that helicopter that had like a power generator attached to it, and he crashed into a building, and Peter was doing parkour in an office space to get to the helicopter. And that only happened once in the main game. Then you got the DLC where Black Cat came in, and then you had to do like a whole a whole parkour scene and chase it through the city. And I thought that was pretty cool. I would definitely love to see like more of that. And uh and funny enough, is one more thing I totally forgot. More crime variants. That's one thing that Gotham Knights, unfortunately, that's one thing Gotham Knights did do perfectly well, with just different crimes in general. Then at some point they start all become the same thing. Like for Spider-Man to have like not just car chases, jewelry store robbery, and and just like thugs just harassing them. We need more. We need like bank robberies or buildings on fire or people stuck on scaffolding. I think that where Miles Morales come into play, because they did have like the traditional crime variants, but also had some different ones when there was like a part that a woman wanted to take a selfie with Miles, and then the building behind her blow up because something that was wrong with the gas line or something like that. Or when or when Miles got a message that some guy was stuck on a scaffolding on the side of a building, and you had to jumpstart the power to raise him back up. So those kind of stuff need to happen in Marvel Spider-Man 2, just more. Like, they do have the different villains variations from the first game. Like, you had the thugs, the demons, the escaped convicts, hammerhead guys, silver sable men. Yeah, all those stuff is good. Just not doing the same old crime thing that I've all with them. Just different, just more different crime variation, because it's in New York. Like, come on, they could definitely do a lot more than that. But going back to the whole thing with the crashing through the cafe and stuff, I believe that was just, it was just like a thing for Spider-Man. But I truly believe with the power of the PS5, since as of now that Marvel Spider-Man 2 is still a PS5 only game, it's not crossplay with the PS4. I think with Marvel Spider-Man 2 they'd be able to fully harness the power of the PS5 without having to downscale for a lower power platform. So that's why I'm hoping we'll see a lot more of that, because that whole reveal thing, that was pretty cool. It was very cool. Alright. So I can stop myself from rambling. Let's get on to our next villain that I could possibly see make an appearance. Next we have is Flip Marko, aka Sandman. I believe he could be a good boss fight, especially on a giant scale. Like, you have to throw like these water containers at him to slow him down and stuff. And what role could he possibly play in Marvel Spider-Man 2 when it comes to like a side quest type of thing? That is a difficult one to think about for a motive for Sandman, other than probably just getting revenge on Spider-Man for always stopping him for stealing money to help his child from the movie, or possibly maybe Dr. Octavius probably meets him in prison, right? Like, just hear me out. Dr. Otto Octavius probably meets him in prison, because if you remember, Dr. Octavius knows who Spider-Man is. And he actually did threaten Peter if he would have let him go and helped him, he would not tell the world his identity. So maybe Dr. Otto Octavius told all this to Sandman and thus promised him a cure for his mutation. It's a little bit and it's a little bit of a stretch when it comes to that kind of scenario. But it's the only one I could probably come up with how Sandman could play a side quest role and stuff. And if you could think of anything different, let me know. Alright, on to our next one. Next we have Morbius the Vampire. He is a very interesting character, I say at least. And to my knowledge, there wasn't any collectibles that kind of hinted towards he's in this universe. So I think Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be a great opportunity to introduce him. Especially Insomniac have said that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will take on a more darker tone compared to the first one. So what role I could see him playing in Marvel Spider-Man 2? I have two situations that could probably work. The first one could be that he was just a regular guy and try to recreate the experiment that Dr. Connor have done that turned to the lizard. But in this case, Morbius used a bat instead, thus transforming him into a vampire. That could be one scenario. The second scenario I could probably think of that could work is it basically most likely an experiment went wrong, and Peter or Miles is finding that people are being basically being put in a hospital because of what Morbius is. Because from the animated TV show when it comes to Spider-Man, Morbius does not drink blood. He drinks plasma. He sucks plasma from the human body. So maybe that could be a thing that will be a case worthy for Peter or Miles to uncover and stuff. I would probably say maybe it would definitely like more Peter to handle than Miles, only because Miles will probably have like a assignment, probably have like a quest that Peter tells him like, here's some samples from Morbius. Try to see if you can make a counter cure or whatever to try to slow him down and stuff. And Miles could probably crack joke. Well, Peter will most likely crack jokes like maybe we could use garlic on him. I think that'd be a somewhat funny exchange between them. Alright. On to our last villain I could probably see play a role in Marvel Spider-Man 2. And last but not least, the biggest villain I see could play a role in Marvel Spider-Man 2 is Mysterio. Yeah, Mysterio, he has a lot of there's a lot of possibilities what he could do in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Especially if Peter is under the influence of Venom. Okay, there is a slight chance that there is a chance that the black suit will appear in Marvel Spider-Man PS4 as the advanced suit and stuff, especially at the ending of the trailer of Marvel Spider-Man 2. You see the white Spider logo over a black background, so that's a very strong possibility. And we all know what Venom does. He feeds the anger or the aggression on Peter's side. So maybe Mysterio could probably feed into that and just making Spider-Man lash out at anybody, but probably show him illusions that or how he failed as a hero to save Aunt May, Uncle Ben. Probably showed the moment when Uncle Ben dies, because we've seen it a whole bunch of times. Marvel Spider-Man PS4 never showed it. Basically showing him that he's like a failed hero, because if he would have done something sooner when it came to Dr. Connors, the whole Devil Breath fiasco would have happened and Aunt May would have still been alive. It's just a whole bunch of possibilities that Mysterio could play, especially if Peter is under the influence of Venom. So I think that would make into a great trippy gameplay, especially if you remember when Scorpion hit Peter with his toxin. Peter was hallucinating the whole time. So, but I think this will be a far worse sort of scale, because people will probably just see Peter is just going crazy, but and actually in his eyes, he thinks he's fighting against Mysterio, and that could probably lead his aggression hidden going overload and lead him to fighting Miles, and Miles will have to either knock him out or calm him down, or Peter will probably say he had enough of this, probably have said he had enough, and just toss his suit, because he believes that he failed as a hero since he sacrificed Aunt May to save the lives of millions. So there we go. Those are what I think could definitely be approved in Marvel Spider-Man 2, and what villains I would like to see be in the game as side bosses, side quests, or play some type of role into the main story. So, without further ado, this is Storm. I catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.